My job is I'm the lobbyist for the university. One of my key activities is to help increase our visibility down in at the State House in Salem. And that's a wide variety of activities, from making sure that legislators understand the impacts of potential bills and what those could mean for Eastern, and advocating for major projects like our field house, EOU's rural designation, and like this week I'm taking Maya Ayudias, our national award winner, top of the line basketball player, down to Salem to have her testify on the importance of intercollegiate athletics. And then we're also going to have her introduced to some key legislators. Some of the key things we're really focused on, obviously, is the budget. The budget for higher education is called the Public University Support Fund. And that is a budget that the legislature passes every biennium. And that then gets distributed amongst the 7 public universities in the state of Oregon. Obviously, Eastern's portion of that is very important to the success and ongoing future of Eastern Oregon University. So that's something we're really watching right now. The governor originally flat funded us, meaning she only gave us the same amount of budget that was in the previous biennium legislative approved budget. So it was flat, so it means we didn't have any roll-up costs for how do we absorb salary increases or benefits increases or energy increases. And so we've been advocating in the State House to make sure that legislators understand the impact, because if we don't do something around that, we would have to increase tuition dramatically for students. So Eastern is taking a very conservative role in ensuring that we find ways to mitigate those tuition increases. Our goal is to have tuition increase no more or keep it under 5%. And we're doing that through a mix of making some internal reductions. We're not spending, we're not doing some things we'd like to do to help support the university. We're also going to use probably some of our fund balance, some of our important reserves, and then also trying to drive, of course, increased enrollments. We are about halfway through the session. That means that there's a point at which time all the bills need to move from one chamber to the next. If they haven't gone through a committee and been voted on and moved from the House, say, to the Senate, or from the Senate to the House, then they effectively, quote unquote, die in committee. And if they die in committee, then they don't get any action for the rest of this legislative session. That doesn't mean that they're gone forever. It means they could come back in a special session, they could come back in the next legislative cycle, but they just didn't get enough attention this time around. There's literally thousands of bills that go through the Capitol, and there's only so much time and so much resource. So we really, even as legislators and lobbyists and working together, we all have to help prioritize what are the most important bills to move forward. Those usually get the earrings right off the bat and get action. And then all of those other types of bills that are important to a lot of people, though, still maybe don't make it through the session. So that has taken place. That was last week. And what that means is that now the list is a little bit shorter that we have to work on, but there's still a lot of important bills that we have to continue to manage to this next next few months. It's about a 6-month session, so it's about 3 months more to go. And we're hoping that, of course, bills that'll support EOU's capital projects like restoration of the Grand Staircase continue to go through, and that bills like the Public University Support Fund, like I talked about earlier, the budget, that goes through as well. That won't die, that one will go through. It's just a matter of how much money is in it, and that's our job right now, is to help make sure that we can get resources in there that help support students. So there's a lot of opportunity to get involved. Obviously, anytime any of our regional legislators come back to LeGrand and are having open houses or town halls around here. So for LeGrand area directly, that's Representative Greg Barretto. He covers kind of both Umatilla and Union counties. And also Senator Bill Hansel, who's the state senator that covers this area as well. Anytime they're out here, it's a great idea to chat with them and find out what's going on, but also tell them if you have any concerns and issues that you want them to be aware of. We have what we call our Technical and Regional Lobby Day coming up on May 14th. That's when we take a busload of students from Eastern down to the Capitol. We do a lot of activities in partnership with the other regional and technical universities. So that includes Oregon Tech, Southern Oregon University, Western Oregon University, and Eastern Oregon University. And we get all of our students and our mascots and support staff and folks come together, but it's really primarily about the students. And they spend the day working with legislators, talking to them, and advocating for the priorities that they have in the legislature that sync up with Eastern. So again, the budget is a really important one. Another one is called sports lottery funding, and these are funds that come from Oregon's lottery, that we get a little percentage off of the revenues from that lottery activity that then helps us support our intercollegiate athletic programs and provide scholarships to students. So that's a real big one we'll be talking about. There's another thing called ETSF, or the Engineering Technology Sustaining Funds. So you like these big long acronyms, but we're using those funds to help support our computer science program. So we'll talk with legislators about the importance of that and what that means for students too, if they're able to go into those programs. So there'll be a couple three major budget priorities we'll be chatting about. And then finally, if people are really interested in getting involved with either True Day or have any information, please feel free to contact our offices and let us know. We'll be having some hearings coming up on the staircase. A lot of community members are interested in that, what that means, and we'll be putting that together. That's probably going to happen in early May.